second week of NaNoWriMo. So actually we're kind of like halfway through the second week of NaNoWriMo. The past 2 days I have been writing, I just haven't really been updating a lot. It's not really because a lot has been happening, it's just mainly because I just keep forgetting to update. So I don't really have a lot to update on, I guess. Like, I don't really know what to update on. However, I do have to say that I'm getting a little annoyed that I keep just like only writing at night. Like, yeah, I love writing at night. It's when I'm like the most creative, but at the same time I really wish that I could like spread it out a little bit more throughout the day. So maybe tomorrow I'll try to do that a little bit, or maybe on Friday, I'm not really sure. But I definitely do want to try to like write more throughout the day rather than just like only writing after like 9 o'clock at night. So currently I'm at 15,055 words, which is a pretty behind schedule. I haven't written anything today yet, so I mean, we'll see how far I get in these next couple of hours, but I don't think I'll get too far. I'm going to try to aim for at least 2,000 words. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we're gonna aim for it. That's like going to be our goal today, is at least 2,000 words. So I should be able to hit that as well tonight. I'm just not sure, we'll see. But this week mainly I was focusing a lot more on Laura's chapters instead of Theo's. So I got one of hers done yesterday and that turned out pretty good, at least for what I got down. And you know, we're really setting some stuff up. I keep having to remind myself that I'm like only 50 pages into this, and I keep being like, oh, I don't have enough of like this, or I don't have enough of that. I'm like, we are only in like the first like not even like third of the book. Like, I don't know why I'm freaking out about it. It's like, it's not a big deal. Okay, so I think I'm going to end off for tonight. I got to 16,855 words, which isn't necessarily 2,000, which is fine. I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. But do you ever have that experience where it's like you're writing, it's going great, and then you just like hit this wall that you can't push through? I notice this happens a lot right before like a turning point, or right before like something happens. And it's so annoying. I really hate it. I wish I could push through it, but that might also be because I tend to write at night. So it's currently 1 a.m. and I'm like, that's the time when I start to go like from here to right down, like straight down. So I think that might also be part of the reason why I get that, you know, complete like creative block at this time. Like, I just can't push through it. I got through a lot of this chapter. I really wish I would have been able to finish the chapter tonight, but I think tomorrow I'm really going to push myself to write throughout the day rather than just writing at night. Thankfully, I was able to do a couple of things today that would make it a little easier. I was able to do the rest of my laundry, which was great. I was able to do the dishes, which was great. So those things have kind of been like looming over my head for the past couple of days, and I finally just like did them. So I'm hoping that tomorrow will be a bit more of a productive day, you know, fingers crossed. Also, I do want to put out like a post for maybe a Q&A. Maybe I can like answer some questions about like my project or my writing or whatever. See if anybody is interested in that. I don't know. So yeah, I really like what I wrote tonight. I think that, you know, I put myself in a really good spot for tomorrow. I just think that maybe I need to like sleep on it. Just like give it a little, you know, couple of hours of rest, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll know exactly what I want to say and where I want to go. So yeah, today's goal on NaNoWriMo is 20,004 words. And I'm pretty far away from it. I'm a little over 3,000 words away from that goal, but hopefully I can get to it tomorrow. I'm like really crossing my fingers because I really want to get back on track. I don't want to constantly feel like I am like trying to play catch up every single day. And if I can get to a little over 20,000 tomorrow, or I guess later on today, I can kind of just go back to only needing to really like write about 1,600 and something words. So yeah, that's like my goal for tomorrow, is to like get back on track. And yeah, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of show you guys, like actually show you where my progress is at. As you can see, I'm really far behind right now. I'm about like almost 4,000 words behind, which is a little disappointing because I didn't do any writing yesterday, which I probably should have, but I kind of just took the day off, so whatever. Currently, let's see, here is where I'm at with everything. And I believe that I just started a new chapter like 2 days ago. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm currently like starting a new chapter, which will be exciting. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you guys what my NaNoWriMo looks like at the moment. So we're at like 19,017 words. I have a lot of writing to do tonight, so we're gonna do that. I have this right here, a little bit of coffee. I have my candle going, which I'm really enjoying. And we are going to put on my NaNoWriMo playlist. Ooh, love it. So cute. So that's what it looks like. Lots of songs. There we go. I actually just recently put those 3 Demi Lovato songs on my playlist. And yeah, so I have a lot of stuff to do. Need to get some writing done, and we'll see how that goes. I love it. At this rate, you'll finish on December 7th, 2020. So let's just hope that I can get back on track and get some writing done. Okay, so I kind of put out on both Twitter and on my YouTube community page asking for some questions for like a Q&A. I got a couple of responses, so I figured that I would answer some of these questions. So I'll start off with the Twitter questions. And the first one is from Raquel, and she asks, do you listen to music when writing / plotting? And if so, what artists or what albums? And I 100% do listen to music while I write or plot. If we're talking like specific artists, it's mainly London Grammar. I feel like that makes up the majority of like what I listen to while I write. I also obviously love to write to Taylor Swift. Sometimes I will write to like different movie soundtracks or like scores, but it's funny, I just typically end up making a playlist, so I'll have that link down below because, you know, we made a playlist for this NaNoWriMo project. And I have artists like The Pretty Reckless, Sarah Bareilles, Wallows, I have some of them, a lot of Hayley Williams, a lot of Halsey, some Hozier, some Evanescence, some Noah Cyrus. Let's see, anything else? Some Avril Lavigne, some Ally and AJ, some Billie Eilish. So like those are just like some of the artists that I have on my playlist, but I will link it down below so you can follow it if you want. Okay, so the next question is from Yismarak, and she asks, what inspired this project? Did you have to do any research prior to starting? And I did do a little bit of research because I do have like some plotting that I did beforehand, but for me I tend to find it really difficult to know what I want to research or know what I need to research if I do it beforehand. So even though it kind of like slows down the writing process a little bit, I tend to leave most of the research to like in the moment when I need it. But so far it's worked out pretty well, and I feel like, you know, I'm just like trying to write a first draft right now, and then I feel like once I'm able to kind of go back through this draft and like clean some stuff up and like really edit through the entire draft, I feel like that's when I'll do even more research. So I've done like some really like kind of surface level research, and then I think I'll know more of what I need later rather than right now. Like right now I really want to focus on getting words into the document and less on like trying to do any like really heavy duty research. The next question comes from Bree, and she asks, what are your definite writing needs? Examples, music, drinks, where you write, stuff like that. I definitely need to have music going, or I need to have like some sort of ambiance, video, music, whatever. I can't write when it's just like dead silent. It like completely distracts me, and then I just start thinking about other stuff. So I just like need to listen to something just to focus. And as for drinks, I'll like take basically anything, like water, coffee, hot chocolate, anything like that. That's totally fine. I really am glad that this year for NaNoWriMo, months in advance, I bought this desk, because before I didn't have a desk in my room. I didn't really have any like surface where I could do my writing. So mainly I would be like writing in my bed, or I would like have to wait until I could go to Starbucks to write. And so I'm really glad that I ended up buying this desk, because it's like the perfect place to write, and I feel like so much creativity here. It's really nice just to like have the right music and have the right creative space. And then I also like to wear like really comfy clothes, so I have so many of like cute little like sweatshirts and stuff like that that I like to wear while I'm writing. Like this one I just got, and this is from the Mile My Supply Company, which I talk about literally all the time because I love them. And this is Mary Sithmas, and it has like Kylo Ren and Darth Vader and like the Death Star, and it's so cute and I love it so much, and it's so comfortable, and it's like the best thing to wear while you're writing. I just like love to wear comfy clothes while I'm writing. I feel like it gets me so much more in the mood, and I'm not worrying about like being uncomfortable. The next question is from Kat, and she asks, what is your favorite genre to write about, and which one is your favorite genre to read? So my favorite genre to write about is probably fantasy. I find it so much easier. I just love doing all the world building. I think that's so much fun to like think about all of the little tiny details within the world and create those. And I love coming up with like names of things and stuff like that. I just think it's really fun. And I just feel like I am so much more comfortable writing within a fantasy world. I feel like there's like less pressure to get things perfect. I feel like when you're writing contemporary, there's so much pressure to be like, is this realistic? Would this actually happen? Stuff like that. And I feel like with like fantasy, I can be a bit more creative and imaginative, whereas contemporary feels like really restrictive. But it is funny, right now I'm actually writing a contemporary fantasy technically. It is dark academia, but it's basically contemporary fantasy, and it's been really interesting. It's like been much more of a struggle, but also really fun and kind of illuminating, and makes me feel a bit better about writing contemporary. But I feel like I always need that fantastical element. And then for my favorite genre, like my ultimate favorite genre is historical fantasy. I just love it. Like every single historical fantasy I read, I just fall in love with it, and it's perfect, and I just have such a good time reading it. So definitely historical fantasy, but just like fantasy in general is like my favorite genre. Okay, so moving on to the questions that were asked on YouTube. So there's a couple of them here as well. Emma X Reads asks, do you have a favorite way to get to know your characters? And I feel like the best way, at least for me, to understand my characters is by doing different personality quizzes. Like I love to do the Enneagram for my characters. I love to do the Myers-Briggs test for my characters, and I feel like doing that and like researching their personality types really helps me understand like who they are as people. Also finding songs that they would relate to is also really helpful, and that's definitely what I use my playlist for. Like it's not just a playlist to get me into a creative mood, it's also a playlist for like, would this main character relate to this song? Like, does this relate to the main romance? Does this relate to whatever? And I feel like that's a really good way for me to get to know my characters as well. Kimberly C asks, how do you get yourself to write when you're feeling unmotivated? That's a little bit more difficult, because for me, I feel like if I'm super unmotivated to where, like to the point where I literally could not think of anything to put on the page, I'll walk away for like half an hour, and maybe I'll watch like a YouTube video, or maybe I'll watch an episode of a TV show I really like, and then I'll come back and try again. I try not to completely like force myself to write. Like there are moments when I feel like, oh, I don't know, I'm like not in the mood, and I'll still get myself to write it anyway. And I also feel like doing sprints is really helpful as well, at least for me, because sometimes I'm like, well, if I can promise myself that I'll write constantly for 10 minutes, then I can have a little break afterwards. And so that's also been really helpful because then you're just kind of forced to write something. And I feel like sometimes once I do that sprint, I'll want to do like 3 more just to kind of like keep it going. And so that's also been really helpful as well. And the last question is from Lauren, and she asks, how long have you had the idea? And I really haven't had this idea for very long. I feel like it's been here for at least a month now. I think I came up with it sometime in either early to mid-October. And that's kind of when I decided I was going to do NaNoWriMo, because before then, I was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to do NaNoWriMo. I don't know if that's like something I want to do this year. And then I kind of saw a lot of other people getting really excited about it, and I was like, well, I can always try again this year because I don't have as much stuff going on as I did last year. And last year was really difficult. I think I only got to a little over 30,000 words and I didn't finish. And so I kind of went into this year being like, I really want to finish this. I really want to do something. And I was like thinking maybe I would just go back to my old work in progress and complete that. And then I ended up getting this idea and it just started formulating in my head, and I really liked it. I fell in love with it, and then I started to fall in love with the characters. I fell in love with the romance, and it just ended up kind of being like the perfect storm of everything. I really can't remember how I came up with the idea. I knew I wanted to write something that was dark academia, and then I feel like that's kind of where I started to get the idea for the plot and the characters. And I think that the plot came before the characters, which is kind of surprising because typically I think of the characters first and then the plot. So yeah, I don't really remember how it happened, but I know that it happened sometime in October. Okay, so those are all the questions that I've been asked on Twitter and YouTube. And if you asked a question, thank you so much, because I was a little nervous that nobody would ask me a question, but I really, really appreciate it. And I have done some writing since I talked to you guys last. So I'm currently at 19,833 words. I did like 2 sprints and I got about like 400 words done for each of those. And I think that I could definitely do some more writing. I did that at around like 8:30. And now it's 11. So we'll see how far I can get to. I definitely want to try to get past 20,000 words today. And hopefully I can start to try to get back on track. I'm really, really far behind, and I'm like so annoyed with myself because I did so well like 2 days ago. So yeah, anyway, I definitely want to get some more writing done tonight, and hopefully I can do that. And I will let you guys know my progress once I'm ready to go to bed. Hey guys, so it's Sunday night. It's currently 8:21, and I have a couple of more questions to answer from the Q&A that I decided to do yesterday. So I'm gonna do the newest one from my YouTube post, and it's from Erin, and she asks, what's the hardest thing for you to write? And in parentheses she put, I stink at dialogue. I think the hardest thing for me to write is setting description. I really hate setting description. I always like either leave it out completely or I write very minimal setting description like for the first draft. That's definitely something that I always come back to when I'm like editing and whatever. That's when I'll add in the setting description, but it's literally my least favorite thing to write, and I feel like I'm not very good at it. So I definitely find that really, really difficult. The next question is from Cressida, and she asks, do you plot out everything or are you a pantser? And before, like years ago, I would have said 100% a pantser, always. But now that I've gotten older and I've like been writing for much longer now, I feel like I'm kind of both, like a plantser. So I do a lot of pantsing, and I don't really do like a whole outline or anything, but I'm definitely one that like has to know who the characters are going to be. I need to know at least how it's going to start and how it's going to end, and just kind of more of like the big picture things. Everything else I can kind of come up with on the fly, but I definitely need to start off with like some big bullet points of what I want the story to be and who I want the characters to be. The next question is from Gigi, and she asks, if your project was a Taylor Swift song, what song would it be? And I feel like I have to go to my playlist for this because I'm not really sure what I would, you know, give to my NaNoWriMo project. I feel like maybe Don't Blame Me might be a good one to use because it is the first song that I thought of when I was creating this project, when I was like kind of planning it out a little bit. I really thought of Don't Blame Me. I don't know why. I've always like really loved that song and loved the lyrics of it. There's so many good parts, and I really love just the whole theme of like falling in love with somebody so deeply it feels like a drug, and that real love is like supposed to make you crazy, and if it doesn't, then you're not doing it right, like within the lyrics. And I really wanted to kind of explore that kind of relationship, and I definitely am with like one of my romantic couples. So I feel like that definitely fits for this project. I think also Exile and Hoax kind of fit as well. I'm trying to see if there's any other like Taylor songs that I really feel like fit in. Okay, so I think we're gonna go with Don't Blame Me, Hoax, and Exile. I feel like that kind of like wraps up my NaNoWriMo project pretty well within like the Taylor Swift songs. Maybe So It Goes, but it's not on my playlist, so I feel like if I add it in, maybe I could tell, but like definitely Don't Blame Me, like number one, that's my project. Okay, so those were all the questions that I'm going to answer. And I haven't written since yesterday, so I was able to get past 20,000 words. I can't remember if I updated last night. I don't think I did. But I was able to get to 20,654 words, which is really, really exciting. But I still have a long way to go to catch up. So I'm going to write some more tonight, get some stuff done, and try to push myself further. I want to write at least like 2,000 words tonight, so I should get started right now, and I will let you guys know before the night is over where I end up and kind of just finish up this vlog. Okay, so currently it is 12:30 at night, and I am going to be done for the day. I got very, very close to hitting 25,000. I just cannot keep my eyes open any longer, so I just have to go to bed. So I ended off the day with 24,225 words in total, but then for what I actually wrote today, let's see, I'm gonna calculate it right now. So for today, I wrote a total of 3,575 words, which I feel super proud of myself for. Like, I don't even know how I wrote that many words. Like, literally, look at that. Look at that. Is that, like, not amazing? I don't know how I got to that number. But I'm super proud of myself, and that means that I am so much closer to hitting my goal. I feel like it's definitely much more manageable now. The goal for today, for November 16th, is 26,672, which means that for today, which is Monday, I only have to write a little over 2,000 words, which I feel pretty good about. So I think we can do that. I ended off at the very end of a chapter, so I'm going to start a new chapter today. And by today, I mean once I wake up, because I'm going to go to bed right now. But yeah, so I just wanted to give you all of that update. I feel super proud of myself for today for getting through over 3,000 words done. Like, that's amazing. And I'm really, really happy with where I'm at in this project. Like, it's so much fun to write. I'm having such a good time just kind of letting my entire creativity just like flow through into this project. I'm really trying not to worry too much about like the content. Like, it's a little weird, but I think it's working. I don't know. I guess we'll see once like it is all like completed, but for now I'm really liking the direction it's headed in. I'm really liking all of like the character explorations that I'm doing. It's really like super interesting to me, and I'm also really enjoying writing the romances, which is fun. So yeah, I just wanted to give you all that update for the second week of NaNoWriMo. I feel like I'm getting closer to being on track, which is good. And it's currently telling me that I will be done on December 2nd. So hopefully we can get that back to like November, whatever. I don't know, is it 30th, 31st? What day does November end on? Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and also on the NaNoWriMo website. I will have all of the information linked down below to playlists, Pinterest boards, and also my NaNoWriMo account. So you can totally follow me on there, become buddies, and that would be super cool. And I hope you all had a really good second week of NaNoWriMo, and that the third week will be even better. Bye! Ooh, I thought it'd be me and you.